What up, guys? In today's vlog, I'm going to talk about cameras because, so I forgot who mentioned this, but one of you guys in the comments yesterday mentioned talking about my first camera and how that came about and why I used it. And so I thought that was a great idea. That lends itself perfectly into segueing into how I started learning VFX, because they both kind of went side by side simultaneously. Basically, the first camera I had was like literally a $200 Sanyo HD 700. If you Google that, it was one of those cameras that kind of looks like a gun. Like you hold it like a gun. It has like the little screen that flips out like this, and it shot 720p at like 30 frames per second. This was 4 or 5 years ago. I got it in, I think, 2008, 2007. No, I got it at the end of 2007. And so I used that for a good solid 2 years. It was just like a camera that I had to like shoot around. I didn't really get it with the intention of doing effects or making videos with it. It was just like, oh, I really wanted a camera, and this thing shot HD. I mean, what? So yeah, and it had a tiny little sensor on it. Didn't really do very much. It wasn't like you can have some great depth of field or anything like that, but it worked. So literally the camera I'm using right now, which is just off of my iPhone, is way better than that, especially with the back camera at 1080p. This front one's 720p, but even that's like, it's pretty much the same quality. So yeah, I mean, that's all you need to start making videos. But if you want to start making like better looking videos, then you got to upgrade to like a DSLR, lenses and stuff like that. And that was the next step that I took. I first got just when I was thinking, I kind of want to get into doing video and stuff. Also photography, saved up money and I got this nice big Canon DSLR. It was a Rebel T1i, or the 500D. It was I got the non-US version, so it was the 500D T1i, and it shot 720p at 24 frames a second. It also shot 1080p, but at like 20 frames per second, which was really weird. So no one ever used it for that. And I shot my first video on that called The Duel. It was just my sister and I, where it's like we're facing off and my arm is light on fire, and then she shoots a lightning bolt at me and I explode. Literally ripped directly from some tutorials online. I didn't really know what I was doing. And it was the first time that I'd put out a video that like no one had any idea that like I was interested in this kind of thing. So everyone that I knew personally, like friends and stuff, it blew their minds. Now everyone's like, oh yeah, you're the video guy. Oh, but I'm starting to talk about my video editing history, and I'm trying to focus this on cameras. My point is that I had a Canon T1i, it shot 720p, and I was able to use different lenses, which is great. But then the T2i came out, and that was a huge upgrade because it shot 1080p at 24 frames per second, and it shot 720p at 60 frames per second. Done. So what I did was I literally sold my T1i and bought the T2i. So it was like I ended up only spending like $100 or $200 extra to upgrade, as opposed to like spending $600 for the new camera. And that was great. T2i I did several videos on, you know, Falcon Punch, the Smash Bros. Rage Shot video, one where I shot a gun at myself over and over, and I was like, why'd you do that? Yeah, that was all on the T2i. But then I upgraded again because the T3i had come out. And that was pretty much the exact same camera as the T2i, except it had the fold-out screen. And that was like over 2 years ago, and look, I still have it. This is the exact same camera I use on pretty much all my videos now. It's still the T3i, although it says EOS KISS X5 because it's Japanese. Because I bought it in Asia. Yeah, so literally, it's the only camera I've needed. And I also have a Canon 60D. It's in the other room. I got it through YouTube Next Up. They gave it to me, and I've literally not used it once. I've not turned it on once because I was originally intending on selling it back, actually sending it back to B&H Photo and like getting the money credit instead. I just never got around to doing that, and that was like back in February, so I'm sure I can't even do it now. My point is that it has 0 shutter clicks, so it's still technically brand new. I've never used it. If any of you wants to buy it, hit me up. Maybe we could work out a deal. Got an extra battery and all that stuff for it. But yeah, so why am I using the Canon T3i as opposed to the 60D? Well, they have the same exact sensor. Literally, as far as video goes, it's the exact same sensor. You get no upgrades by using the 60D over the T3i. I think it has a little bit better high ISO noise handling, but that's not that big of a deal. Light your scenes properly and you don't have to use high ISO. If you're having to like go for freaking night scenes, you don't want to be using a Canon DSLR. You want to be using like you want to rent a good camera for that, like a Sony video camera or something, you know. So since the T3i has come out, there's been the T4i and the T5i, and I've had zero interest in getting those because they haven't brought anything new to the table that is worth upgrading for. The T4i brought like a touchscreen controls to it. Big deal, you don't, whatever. The T5i has like ability to use new lenses that allow you to focus while you're recording video. And again, big deal, unless you're shooting action sports or, you know, reality TV or, you know, vlogs or whatever, and you have a little kid running around, you're not going to need autofocus while doing video. You want to pull your own focus. That's part of the video making process, is, you know, set up your focus, or if something's moving, or if you want to actually do the focus on your own, you want manual focus. I never use autofocus. The only times I use autofocus is if I'm like, I set up my focus and then I just let it go. Yeah. So my point is that those cameras, there's a reason why I'm still using the T3i. It's the best bang for your buck right now still. If you want to get a camera, get the T3i and the stock lens that comes with it. I spent a bunch of money back in the day and I got this lens, which is a 17 to 40 L series lens, and this is incredible quality glass. This doesn't have image stabilizing or anything like that, but this is like a professional lens. Like this is pretty good. And this had replaced this other lens, which was a Tamron, what was it, like 17 to 50 millimeter lens. Has better aperture. It goes down to 2.8, but I think it's kind of broken. There's some moving parts inside that didn't used to be moving. And I've since gotten this lens, which is attached to the camera right now, which is what I shot my entire Harry Potter video on, literally, on a Red Epic and this lens, which is now connected to a T3i. And the reason why I did that is because it's actually really, really good glass. It's an incredible lens. It's the same exact lens that Cordo Digital uses for all their shots most of the time, unless they're actually doing a prime or telephoto. Reason being is because it goes down to the aperture of 2.8, so it's really wide open lens. Across the board, it's consistent from 17 to 55, 2.8 aperture. Sometimes on some lenses, especially if you get the kit lens, if you zoom in, the aperture will actually narrow down, so your image will get darker. And for doing video where you're like constantly zooming in and out, you don't want that. You want to have consistent aperture all the way. And it also has image stabilizing, which is a lifesaver. So you get like little micro shakes like this. Instead, you get fluid, smooth movements. I mean, you still get movement, like, you know what I'm talking about, image stabilization. It all compounds and makes it a nicer image in the end. So I literally shot my entire video using that lens. I brought my other lenses, I just didn't use them because I didn't need them. Because we're just like running and gunning. We shot 18 pages of script in 2 days, and I'm still blown away that we're able to do that. You also may have noticed that I've got this extra thing attached to the bottom. It doesn't look like a T3i, but this is a battery grip down here at the bottom, and that just has so like I can, oh crap. See if I can do this. Battery grip is just, has a couple extra batteries inside, or one extra battery I should say, and that's literally all it is. Just because if you're shooting video, you kind of churn through these batteries kind of quickly, so having 2 batteries, better than 1. Still got to charge 2 batteries, but you know, whatever. Yeah, and that's why I'm probably not going to upgrade to a new camera anytime soon. I'll probably end up not selling that one, unless, again, if any of you guys wants to buy it, by all means, let's talk. But if not, I'll probably end up just using it in the future. I have some plans for doing like podcasts and stuff, and actually having it be like video podcasts from like different angles and whatnot, so I might end up using it. Who knows? And so if you're doing, That's all you need. The biggest upgrade, if you do want to get a better DSLR with better looking images, you want to go to like a 5D Mark II or a 5D Mark III, even though they're both kind of expensive. Or the 6D, or I guess now the 7, no, not the 7D, the 6D Mark II. They're the full frame sensor. Excuse me, that's what I'm talking about. Because these have cropped sensors of a factor of like 1.6, so it's like, it just means that you have like full frame is a factor of 1, so a factor of 1.6 means if you're at the same focal length, say you're at 17 meters on a full frame lens or full frame camera, it's going to be like this big wide, picture. But on a cropped sensor like the Rebel series or a 7D or a 60D, they're all with a crop factor of 1.6, so it's going to be zoomed in a little bit. More crop. Yeah, like I said, I used Red Epic for the Harry Potter short. Corridor Digital uses the Red Scarlet, although they're getting a Red Epic Dragon. They're literally getting the brand new Dragon camera. They've already put in they should be getting it within the next couple months because the Dragons just started shipping out. Michael Bay and David Fincher already have them. And so they'll probably be, apparently they're pretty high up on the list because they got the Scarlet on day 1 and then they put in their reserve for the Dragon on day 1 as well. So. She's dancing. So this has been a terrifyingly long vlog, but hopefully it's been dense with information. Camera's a camera, dude. If you want to shoot something amazing looking, there's no need to buy a Red Epic or a Scarlet. Just rent one until you're like doing lots of projects consistently and you'll be able to pay it back within a few projects. That's the only time you want to buy an expensive camera. Until then, you don't want to buy anything more expensive than just a DSLR. And like I was saying, T3i, best bang for your buck. 5D Mark II, and not so much bang for your buck because it's a lot of, or Mark III, because it's expensive for not that much better quality. Plus you have to have nicer lenses because lenses meant for full frame, whereas you can use pretty much any Canon lens with these cameras. So 12-minute video, that's going to be all for today, and I will see you tomorrow. Right? Yeah.